remember I was only 13 when I met the dealer. Gave me the deuce and the bundle of cocaine. Told me to sell to my people, make sure to keep me feeling. If any try to show you, make sure that you leave me. And he said, I'ma hold you down when problems pop up. Now you got me millions, don't want me and lock up. He said, don't you want the best vertical with the top cover? Stop bitching, get in that kitchen, let it rock up. Bitches blood dope, or especially when it's pop up. I know you know why. You the plug, somebody lock up. I tell you a little secret, make sure that you keep your mouth shut. Brian got a Lexus, crib in Philly and Texas. Twisted the Bahamas, just got a lift for his mama. He's fucking up in college, be honest, we seeing decent though. I hear you, but I just seen Ryan about a week ago. Fat, he ain't looking too good, his knee was kinda slow. I asked him why he struggled, he got stuck up for his rumble. But in 6, how he fixing his legs what made him crumble. Thinks he got the house and mama is living good. Said the feds took it all, he right back in the hood. I see you try to play me, you gave us crack in the 80s. Made us support our babies and making whores out of ladies. I know you got me gravy, but Satan, you must be crazy. It's gonna take more than cause when to amaze me. I seen niggas shoot for the stars but being lazy. Never get their head at the clouds so you don't face me. I guarantee that you won't regret it. Remember I said it. Nah, you could get it. What you saying? I can't win. No, devil nice drops. So until we meet again.
I ain't have to die to get together. We just still landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. We seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. I ain't religious or superstitious. But we been getting fucked up to the side like the mistress. Police control the line because prison became a business. They murder one of us, they start talking about forgiveness. We think that it's alright because we got public assistance. If this ain't hell, dog, what is this? Where was all lives matter when they killed Osama? There was no peace talk like the Dalai Lama. Bush dropped a bomb saying he gon' bring the drama. They got justice, man, they even caught the Boston bomber. But when we ride, they send the military in armor. When we fight oppression, then our people die martyred. You read what you sow, some people call it karma. When Christ returned, y'all can get his harvest like a farmer. Don't tell me don't bring up the past no more. They still trying to set it the score with Sasha Shakur. I changed my life and I'm just trying to live life right. But at night I look behind me and see flashing lights, patting me down. Now nothing is holding me right. I don't smoke or push pills, I give up my fight. So Mr. Officer, why you wanna take my life? And your honor, why you gave my homeboy's life? I've been wondering why you shot our homeboy twice. Pussy with a gun screaming out that he got a knife. He came from my BB spot, it was chicken and rice. Shit's tripe, I'm just giving visuals like Skype. Ash Trayvon, Mike Brown, the hot girl, Eric Garner, Storm Bell, Philando, Open Sterling, Javon McDonald. The white man is so devilish. Ask Hammurabi, he'll tell you who the devil is. The white man is so devilish. Ask Hammurabi, he'll tell you who the devil is. I ain't have to die to be together. Angels still landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. And we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels still landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. And we seen the rise of the devil. I pray for the demise of the devil. Lord knows I despise every devil. I look into the eyes of the devil. Until I pray to God everywhere.
This is where it all began. This is where the game began.
Get a whole lot of damage. Shit was outrageous. Banks got brain. Split about a family, then shipped across the Atlantic. So many died from the panic.
All right. Clap it up. All right. We're the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We teach so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians your true identity, your true culture, who you are according to the Bible. We teach our people how to get back to the Most High so He can fight for us instead of fighting against us. And in order to do that, you must come into the Israelite School of UPK and learn the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. All right? Tonight is the Monday night history class. I'll be holding it down to Precinct Officer Lahab come. You know what I'm saying? So tonight I'm gonna bring out some milk scriptures, man, about the color of Christ, because I realize that we still have Christians and our people believing that Christ is a white man. And that's just a lie, because the Bible does not describe Christ as white. The Bible does not describe God as white. The Bible does not describe the angels as little naked babies, little Cupid naked babies shooting an arrow at naked white women, you see. You know what I mean? The children of Israel are black, you understand? But the Christian church say there is no color in the Bible, and that's simply a lie. And we're going to prove it today in Monday night history class. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm Precinct Officer Shabayala. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to hold it down to Officer Lahab get here. So with that, hey, shalom, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Barakathum, Yahweh Shemal Athun Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. You know what I mean? So we just going to get right into it, man. We're going to go to the book of Zephaniah 2:1. We go to this scripture, you know what I'm saying, at the beginning of every class, man. So we can see what we must do in these last days, you know what I'm saying? So we can learn, you know, about the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. Learn who we are. Learn everything correctly. You know what I'm saying? But this is what we must do. We're in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, and verse 1. It reads, "Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired." And this is a heavy scripture right here, because it's saying, gather yourselves together. And it's saying that for a reason. It's saying, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired, because there's a nation on this planet that's not desired. That nation is the lost 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And those, the lost 12 tribes of the children of Israel today would be your so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This is the Most High charging us to gather ourselves together and become a nation again, because we have no clue who we are. Hispanics, I mean, you got that name from the so-called oppressor, the so-called white man. He named you that. He named the Native Indian. The word Indian means savage. How can you name them Indians when you the one, or savages, when you the one who savagely raped, robbed, and murdered them and took their land? You even stole their identity. You got these 5-cent Indians or $5 Indians. Man, they done took the so-called white man. He's everything now. He's the Indian. He's the African. He's the Jew. He's the this and he's the that. No, and he'll tell you everybody in the Bible is white. He's everybody. He's the Martian. He's everything. He's God. He's Christ. Somebody telling us a damn lie. And we're going to prove today in these scriptures, man, that we've been being lied to for over 500 years in this place, man. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures tells us that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Well, who runs the earth? I'll wait. The so-called white man runs the earth. So he must be the wicked on the earth. I ain't never seen no black, Hispanic, or Native Indian person start World War I or II. And we about to go into World War III. That's a whole nother topic. But they started that too. They started the war, talking about the war on drugs. Don't you know that's the reason why they're over there in Afghanistan? Over there stealing everybody's resources. You understand? That's another topic, man. I'm going to read this again from the top. We're in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired." In these last days, if you so-called black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, the Lord is telling us to gather ourselves together. We can't stay divided. You can't have the Bloods, the Crips, the Nietes, the Vice Lords. You can't have all that division, man. We got to gather together. You can't have the Baptist church on this corner and another Baptist church over there. They teach two different. Everybody need to come together under the commanding General Yohana of the ISUPK. That's what the Lord is telling us, because the ISUPK is the only place that only allows God's chosen people to gather themselves together, man. We don't allow other nations in here, man. We don't allow the so-called white man or the Chinese man, you understand, or the African man or the Arab man. We don't allow them in any of our functions. This is only for the lost 12 tribes of the children of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? So we're going to drop that. All right, first scripture we're going to go to is the book of Revelations. All right? We're about to prove, and we're going to bring out some color scriptures, man, to prove that color is in the Bible. And color does matter. Michael Jackson said it don't matter if you're black or white. That's a damn lie. White people ain't got to worry about being pulled over. You know what I'm saying? Getting harassed, getting hunted down like a damn animal. It does matter. That's what we teach here in the UPK. And that's what the Bible teaches, man. Your nationality absolutely does matter. That's the case. Why would they keep on saying in the Bible that Christ was an Israelite? He was a Jew from the tribe of Judah. You see what I'm saying? If not, your nationality don't matter, why does it keep saying what nation Christ from and what tribe? It does matter, man. Okay? So again, we're going to go to the book of Revelations. The word revelations means to reveal. So we're about to reveal the true color of Christ and show you that color is in the scriptures. All right? So we're going to start at Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. I'm going to give y'all time to get there. Go to Revelations chapter 1 and verse 1. All right? And it reads, the revelation of Jesus Christ. Again, revelation means reveal. So it's about to reveal Jesus Christ. It's going to describe him. It's going to reveal his color, his nationality, who he is. Okay? We're going to prove it right now. Again, this is book of Revelations, chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ. His name is really Yahushua Mashiach, but we ignorantly call him Jesus Christ. The letter J wasn't invented to the early 1600s. You understand? Christ, that was 400 years ago when the letter J was invented. Christ walked the earth 2,000 years ago. So his name ain't Jesus. It's Yahushua. Okay? Christ Mashiach. Yahushua Mashiach. I'm going to say it again. Yahushua Mashiach. All right? So this is the revelation of Yahushua Mashiach, which God gave unto him. God gave unto him his identity. You see what I'm saying? To show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. So God gave Christ the things and the scriptures to teach, to show the things that which would come to pass. The Old Testament and the New. You see? Because the New Testament, it wasn't no New Testament. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no Christ in the Old Testament. He was prophesied to come, yeah. But Christ came around the New Testament. So he had to be, if it wasn't no New Testament, Christ had to been teaching the Old Testament. You see? Because God just said right here, which God gave unto him to show his servants the things which must shortly come to pass. So he can't be, if the New Testament is being made as he's teaching, you see, what was he teaching from? He was teaching from the Old Testament. So the laws in the Old Testament are still active to this day. You understand? The laws are not done away with. We must keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Because again, what is sin? Sin is the transgression of the law. So if you transgress the law and not keep the law, the wages of sin is death. Clear cut. You understand? Straight like that. All right. So we're going to drop that. Then we're going to go we're going to stay in Revelations, but we're going to go to chapter 1. We're going to drop down to verse 13. So drop down to verse 13, same chapter. All right. And it reads, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, you see this? That's a menorah. A menorah, that's 7 candlesticks. But that represents the 7 churches. All right. So I'm going to read it again. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 1 and verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man. We all know that the Son of Man is Jesus Christ. One like unto the Son of Man. All right. Clothed with the garment down to the foot. He had on a garment that came down to his foot. If you look at the brothers in the Isupk and watch our classes and videos and street speakings, you'll see that we have on garments and it come down to our foot, just like Christ. You know what I'm saying? We don't have on no white Roman togas. Like they try that, like that white Jesus, the one walking around with that gay gown on. They got white Jesus walking around with a gown on. You understand? Nah, Christ had on a garment, a warlike garment. You understand? All right, I'm gonna keep reading. Clothed with the garment down to the foot. His garment came down to his foot. And girt about the paps with a golden girdle. That girt about the paps in his midsection, his stomach area, he had on a golden war belt. You understand? He had on armor. You know what I'm saying? You know how we put on a bulletproof vest? That's armor to protect what? Your midsection. That's what that golden girdle did, that golden war belt. It protected his midsection. But that thing was solid gold. Christ, come on, what other nations of people you know that shine like that other than black people? We put gold in our mouth and our ears, and that's our culture. You understand? I seen a couple sisters, they got gold in their hair. You see? And it's glorious in my sight and in the sight of the Lord. All right? All right. We're going to keep reading. We're still in Revelations chapter 1. We're going to keep reading. It's verse 14. His head and his hairs. You hear that? Now, y'all, when we read this scripture right here, we always gloss over this. But I'm going to slow it down so you can understand what this is saying. It say, his head and his hairs were white like wool. So his head, he had a white or a gray afro. You know what I'm saying? You know, black people get older, our hair turn gray. We call it white hair. So his hair was white like wool. You know what I'm saying? His hair was white like wool, all right? And it say his head and his hairs, meaning his head, he had hair, and his hairs, meaning he had a beard. See, you gloss over that. You got to pay attention to that. It say his head and his hairs. His head, the hair on his head, and his hairs. He had a beard. If you know anything about old Quaker English or anything like that, or old English, you would know when it references your head and your hairs, that means the hair on your head and he had a beard. So he had a white woolly fro and a white woolly beard. All right? White like wool, white being the color, meaning like gray hair, wool being the texture. And if anybody knows, so-called Negroes is walking around here with that woolly hair, that nappy hair. We call it nappy, but that's woolly hair. Okay? Christ had a hair, he had a woolly hair, man. Only blacks got that, man. So-called blacks. You see? I'm going to keep reading, because Christ was a black man. All right? And we're going to prove it. And his eyes were as a flame of fire, meaning, if you go read in Genesis, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you go read all throughout the Bible to tell you, as it describes Christ's eyes, it said because he drank wine. If you know, you got any uncles or anything like that, you know, that drink that wine, drink that liquor or that beer, which is not a sin, by the way. Christ turned water into wine. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know that story. So how is it a sin that Christ, you know what I'm saying, drink it? You see? The thing about it is, when black people they drink a little bit, their eyes will turn a little red. You know what I'm saying? A little red eye a little bit. That's all that means. All right? So, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. That's what that means. He drank wine. His eyes turn a little red when he drank wine. All right? And there's other scriptures to prove that. You know what I mean? All right, verse 15. This scripture right here is paramount. It's absolutely important that you know what this scripture is talking about. All right. Verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass. If anybody know, you know, brass is a derivative of brown. Anybody got a penny in their pocket? You pull a penny out your pocket, you look at it, you see that penny is brown. You can't refute that. You see? Some people try to say his feet were like brass because he was strong. No. It say, and his feet like unto fine brass. And it didn't stop there though. So his feet was brown, but it didn't stop there. Listen good. All right. As if they burned in a furnace. Come on, if you get an already brown penny and burn it, it's either going to get darker brown, dark brown, or black. So in essence, or in other words, Christ was Wesley Snipes black. You see, Christ was black. He was a dark-skinned brother. All right. So who is that white dude on all your murals and your fans and all the pictures grandmama had in the house? Who the hell is he? I'll tell you who he is. His name is Serge Borgia. You understand? He's the son of Pope Alexander, the sixth of Rome. You see? Serge Borgia, that's who the Roman Catholic Church approved his picture, that Leonardo da Vinci painted his picture, and the Roman Catholic Church approved that picture to be Jesus Christ to deceive the whole earth. And they did a good job at it because everybody think that Christ is that white dude in that picture who looked like Billy Ray Thornton. That dude looked like the Macho Man Randy Savage. And that's who you praying to, black man? Hispanic man, Native Indian man? That ain't no damn Christ. Christ is a black man, all right? We're going to drop that. Let's go to the book of Daniel, all right? We're going to go to the book of Daniel, and we're going to go to chapter 10, verse 5 and 6. So let me get there, book of Daniel. Because the Christian church love to say there is no color in the Bible. Well, you just seen in Revelation, there is color in the Bible. This time in Daniel's account, when he seen Christ, it's actually going to say color. Now, I'll argue against this, you just a damn fool. You know what I'm saying, at this point. And, the Most High didn't want you to have the truth anyway. Because you're a stubborn bastard, you see. We're going to go to the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 5 and 6. All right? 435. Let's get there. Chapter 10. All right. We're in the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 5 and 6. Now, this is Daniel's vision of Jesus Christ, or Daniel's vision of Yahushua Mashiach. That's his real name in Hebrew. The Bible was written in Hebrew. Then it was translated to Greek and Latin, and then to English. That's why you're saying Jesus now, because it was translated to English. But if you translate the word Jesus back in the Hebrew, it would be Yahushua. Yahushua. That's his name. So all this time you've been praying to white Jesus and you ain't even know it. That's why he didn't never listen to you. You've been praying to a white God in the name of his white son Jesus, and your prayers never got answered. And if your prayers did get answered, it wasn't answered by God, they were answered by Satan. Because you prayed for money, and Satan will give you money to destroy you further. Okay? So, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 5. And it reads, Then I lifted up mine eyes. This is Daniel, saying he lifted up his eyes, right? And look, also Daniel's black. All the prophets in the Bible is black. Mary was black, Joseph, you know what I'm saying? Mark, Luke, John, all that. All of them black. Ezekiel, Isaiah, all the prophets, Moses, Christ, all of them black. Adam and Eve. They whitewashed our history, yo. Not only that, King James, the one who translated the Bible, he was black. Did you know that Shakespeare was black? You see? Mozart, black. We've been lied to in this place, man. Everything we think we know in this place, we've been lied to about. That's why we call the white men the so-called. That's why we call our oppressors the devil that the Bible speaks of, because devil simply means deceiver or liar. All right. So this is Daniel's account of when he seen Christ. Now we seen in Revelation, he had on the garment, golden war belt, his hair on his head and his beard, white like wool. He had woolly hair, white being the color, wool being the texture. His skin color, it says his feet was like unto fine brass, as if they was burnt in a furnace. Meaning that was a dark-skinned brother. That was in Revelation. Revelation means to reveal. Now let's see another account in Daniel. What Daniel seen, all right? It's the book of Daniel, chapter 10 and verse 5. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. Again, he had on that golden girdle. That's that same golden war belt he had on in Revelations. This is confirmation. You see? All right, I'm going to keep reading. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning. So when they say his body was like the beryl, meaning that garment that he had on in Revelations, it was green. Beryl is a color. Beryl is a green color. So that garment, and you know it was fly. Just imagine them old pimps. Now, Christ wasn't no pimp. But think about how them pimps dress. And those pimps I'm talking about is the pimps that's in the Christian church. Imagine how they dress. You know what I'm saying? Niggas always, we got to be fly. You know what I'm saying? But he had on a green garment. That's what that said. And his face as the appearance of lightning. If anybody know niggas, what we do when we get out the shower? We throw that baby oil on, that grease, that oil. Shout out to Captain Tazariak and Lily's oils. But anyway, he shined. He was shining. You know what I'm saying? He just had a glow about him. Y'all sister said on Facebook all the time. You say you're glowing. Or your glow is real. Well, Christ was glowing. He was shining. Okay? That's all that means. Reading on. And his eyes as lamps of fire. There go them red eyes again. Why? Because Christ drank wine. Christ had a drink. It's not a sin to have a drink. You know what I mean? It's a sin to be a drunkard. You know, you pissing all over yourself, and you're throwing up and vomiting. You're starting fights everywhere you go. You see, crashing your car. That's a drunkard. Standing out. You ever seen somebody standing out in front of QT? You know what I mean? They out there begging for change and stuff like that. Now I blame the white man, our oppressors for that. Salakia, I blame our oppressors for that. If they black, Hispanic, or Native Indian out there begging for change. But a lot of them, man, they life done went that, they living in that hellish condition, because they turn to alcoholism because to fight the oppression that our oppressors done put on us, man. So they turn to alcoholism and they lost everything and they get engulfed in that alcohol, or it could be weed. You see what I'm saying? We spend tons of money on weed and crack and cigarettes and drugs, man. That's what our people do. Some people turn to eating. You become a glutton. You see, some people turn into anger and they hate their own people. I understand the anger that you have, because surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. But you mad at the wrong people. Don't be mad at your people. Your people didn't oppress you. You see, our oppressors oppressed us. Who are our oppressors? The Caucasian race, our slave masters. But we're gonna keep reading. All right, say his body also was like the beryl. He on a green garment. And his face as the appearance of lightning. He shined. Christ was shining. And his eyes as lamps of fire. He had red eyes because he drank wine. And his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass. You see that? I thought color wasn't in the Bible. No, y'all gonna open your Bible right now and go to the book of Daniel, chapter 10, and we in verse 6. It say, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass. What is brass? It's a derivative of brown. In Revelation, it says feet was like unto fine brass, a derivative of brown. But in Revelation, it didn't stop there. It went on to say as if they burn in the furnace. Daniel is still seeing this same dark-skinned brother. This dude was our brother, our king, our black king, Christ, was a dark-skinned brother. He was Kevin Hart black. Okay? On 3-6 Mafia, he was country black. Okay? That's how black he was. He was dark-skinned. He was a dark-skinned brother. Now, you know anything about black people, we got different shades of brown. All the way all up to light skin, we call them yellow. Red, we call them red. What up, red? But you fall all the way down the spectrum, what we say. In every neighborhood, you got somebody named what? Black. Why? Because he's dark-skinned. You know what I mean? What up, black? But there it is. You cannot, at this point, you can't refute this. If his arm and his feet was black, the rest of his body was black. Meaning his skin tone. What's on top of your feet and your arm? Skin. It said, I'm going to read it again. For those who say that's your interpretation. It ain't my interpretation. That's actually what it says. Now, if you wipe the dust off your Bible, you'll see it. The Christian church don't bring this out. You see? You see the Christian pastor up there, he up there preaching. We don't preach, we teach. Now, preach means teach. But we don't say that word because Christianity done made it gay. They just done bastardize it down to nothing, man. So, yeah, we teach. This is the Israelite school of universal and practical knowledge. You know what I mean? This ain't the Christian church. The Bible is against Christianity. You go in the Christian church, man, you're going to learn how to sing. You're going to learn how to dance. And what is this thing? When they paint their face white and they doing this. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. What is it? He's a memer? A mimer? You know what I'm saying? You go to New York, you'll see a bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? They stand out there on the street corner with white paint on their face, and I'm in a box. They silent. They're like this. That's what they're doing in the Christian church. They call it a praise dance. The Christian church is a joke, man. The Christian church is a joke, and it's a concert. You understand? Salaki, 1 second. Somebody at the door. 1 second. Salaki. All right, back at it. Got my brother that came up in here with me, man. Officer Palaki, give him a hand. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother right there, man. Officer Palaki, man. Mighty brother right there, man. Come help his brother out, man. All right, we're going over color scriptures right now till Officer Lahab get here. Right now, we in Daniel. You know what I'm saying? Chapter 10, verse 5 and 6. All right. I'm going to give y'all time to get there because we're going to go over this again. Matter of fact, I'm going to start, but let's go back. Let's go to Revelations because I already brought it out, but I'm going to bring it out again. I'm going to drill this in our people's head, man, so they can get it right this time instead of going to that Christian church. Listen, if you still in the Christian church in 2021, you are beyond a sucker. Right. You being played like a sucker, and it's foolish. You see, all your kids is either smoking crack or weed or whores, and you still in there. Where's the God of that Christian church? Right. He's supposed to deliver you and your family. You see? You understand? And the Isupk, oh man, listen, we got kids that's being born in the truth, man. They don't gotta be born again because they came into the truth. In other words, they didn't come into lies being called African Americans. They know that they're Israelite from the tribe of Judah or from the tribe of Benjamin or Levi. You know what I'm saying? Or Manasseh or Simeon or Gad or Benjamin. You know what I mean? It's 12 tribes. But we're going to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1. We're going to bring out some color scriptures to prove that color is in the Bible. I'm going back over it because I want my people to get this good, man. Get it good. You got that, brother? Go ahead.
Book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ. Revelation of Jesus Christ.
The word revelation means to reveal. So this is about to reveal the color of Christ, what he looked like. It's going to describe him to a T. You ever look at the news and they describe the suspect? They give a full out description. Right. And 9 times out of 10, they describe somebody black. Read.
Which God gave it to him.
God made him like this. God gave him, you know what I'm saying, his description. God gave him instruction. You understand? Read.
To shoot him into his service.
Yeah, to show into his service, man. Christ, that's why we follow Christ in the UPK. Because God gave him this instruction to show unto his service. Read on.
Right. Which must shortly come to pass.
God gave him things which must shortly come to pass. God gave the revelation, or God revealed, you know what I'm saying, prophecies to Christ to reveal to us. And we revealing them right here in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. We're doing the same thing Christ did.
Right.
We're revealing the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody love to say this all the time. They say the truth shall make you free. Or what you still believe in a lie for? Like Christ is white.
Right.
God is white. Angels are white.
Right.
We're going to reveal what God revealed to Christ. Because God didn't tell Christ to reveal it to his servants to keep it a secret.
Right.
This ain't Victoria's Secret.
Right.
You see? So if Christ taught his servants, what do you think his servants supposed to do? Teach men. Teach everybody else.
Right.
The truth. All right? If you could, Bible Kashai, drop down to verse 13.
Book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks. Candlesticks.
This right here. You see this? This is a menorah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the 7 candlestick holder. It's a menorah. You know what I mean? We had that in our temple. We had a big old gold menorah. And when the Babylonians came, man, they stole all our gold and all our, our holy things. Holy means separate. Right. You know what I mean? That's what holy means. But I mean, that's another topic. But that's what it's saying in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, which represent the 7 churches. Right. Church means school. School and church is the same thing by definition. You know what I'm saying? That's why we're not the Israelite Church of Universal Practical Knowledge. We are the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge.
Right.
Because the word church has been it's been bastardized down. Christianity took it, and they let homosexuals sit up there and parade themselves in the choir. The pastor is tying fire to everybody's wife in there and their kids. Make no mistake, that's where that pedophilia come from. It come from those churches.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your uncle molest you, your aunt molest you. All that come from. They all came out of the Christian church, man.
Right.
Christian church full of demons. Read on.
One like unto the Son of Man.
One like unto the Son of Man. Now this is Christ. It's about to get into describing Christ to a T. You know what I'm saying? The Israelites do everything meticulously. We kept meticulous records. Everybody like, how you know that's what they're saying? Because we wrote them down, dummy.
Right.
Don't Facebook tell you every day to post what's on your mind?
Right.
And y'all definitely do that.
Right.
You ain't even got to talk to a woman no more. Just go down the timeline. You'll know her whole life. You'll know she's a whore.
Right.
You'll know all her business, kids' names, all 10 of her baby daddies in the last 5 years. She's going to talk trash about him. Brothers, you don't get no pass either. I see y'all on that too. Flashing your little money. Next thing you know, I see your money and guns. Next week, I see RIP. You asked for it, man.
Right.
But we're going to get back to these color scriptures. Read on.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
Now, this is describing what he had on. He had on a garment, a war garment, because Christ was a warrior.
Right.
You understand? He on a war garment. and it came down to his feet. You go look at some of them movies, you go see when they had the swords, you know what I mean, and the shields, all that came from our culture.
Right.
Christ had on a warlike garment. Read on.
And girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
Gird about the paps. He had a golden war belt to protect his midsection. Today you would call it armor. He had a golden war belt to protect his midsection. Because you know, with a sword, back then they had a sword. They stab you with that sword. You got to have on some protection. Right. You see? Why the Christian church don't teach you this? They sit up there in that $2,000 suit, the alligator shoes, and that pinky ring. Right. What the hell is they going to protect? You go ahead.
Two sizes too small.
Oh my goodness. The suit, 2 sizes too small. You see what I'm saying? The water Palak is good. Night. They up there and they pimps, man. Right. They up there with them, you know. They got as soon as they walk in the door, they make sure everybody see it. They car alarm, their Cadillac out there. You know what I'm saying? Right. Maserati sitting out there, or Cadillac. You know what I mean? They don't have on no war garment, man. In the UPK, we rock out, we put back on our strength and wear our glorious garments, man.
Right.
Because we're warriors. We're the army of the Most High. Right here on earth, man. We got our pants with our fringes, and we do not wear fringes on the bottom of our t-shirts. Right. Looking like a model on a Dina Howard song t-shirt and my panties on. Right. Read on.
Verse 14. His head and his hair were white like wool.
You see that? His head. The fro. He had a fro. It said his head and his hairs were white like wool. White being the color, wool being the texture. It say his head and his hairs. He had a beard. He had a woolly beard and a woolly fro. Right. You want to know where these afros come from? That's why when I see them sisters and they got them natural afros out, I don't care if it's like this, or I don't care if you need a magnifying glass to see it. I love it. I will rub your head, ooh-wee. Okay? Read on.
As white as snow.
As white as what?
As white as snow.
Nah, it was doggy string hair like that white boy.
As white as snow.
No, it was blonde hair and blue eyes.
As white as snow.
Nah, he was a brunette looking like John Claude Van Damme.
As white as snow.
Man, Christ had gray hair, man. Right. Look at your older aunties and your grandpa and your grandma. What color they hair turn? It turned white. We call it gray hair in the black community. Right. You see? Read on.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Man, his eyes was as a flame of fire. That means Christ he drank some wine. If you got any kind of uncle or aunt or anything like that, which I know you do, because we are damn near the #1 consumers of alcohol, what color do your eyes turn? It turned red. I tell you what his eyes wasn't red from. He wasn't smoking no damn eighth. Right. He wasn't smoking no loud pack. Right. Christ and the disciples wasn't walking around passing. Right. They wasn't doing that. Right. You see? Christ didn't turn no half ounce to a pound. He turned water into wine. Right. So you can drink, but you cannot smoke, man. Right. Put them Camels and them Newports down, man. Put them Black and Miles down. Put them vapes down. That's a sin too. You think you slipping past God's law with them little vapes. Right. But you don't know metal is getting in your lungs. You're killing yourself. Right. Your lungs were made for oxygen. That's a whole nother topic, which I plan on bringing out in the future. But, Salaki, go ahead, read on.
Verse 15. Mm-hmm. And his feet like unto fine brass.
This is talking about his skin tone. Now, if you know anything about the Bible, it's poetic, man. Like in Genesis, when you know we called the white man a snake in the garden. You see, everybody think that snake is a literal snake, which is why you see pictures of a white Adam, white Eve eating an apple naked and a snake sitting there. Man, listen, man, that's a metaphor for a man. That's another topic, sidebar. But we're gonna read that again from the top, Baba Kishar.
God, Book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 15. Mm-hmm. And his feet like unto fine brass.
His feet like unto fine brass. Now, brass is a derivative of brown. Right. Right? If you pull a penny out your pocket and look at it, that penny, I'm going to say, what color is that? You're going to say brown, because brass is brown.
Right.
But hold on. Don't stop there. Read.
As if they burn in a furnace.
As if they what?
As if they burn in a furnace.
As if they burn in the furnace. You know what that means? Again, Christ was Wesley Snipes black.
Right.
Straight up and down.
Right.
Christ was Boosie black. You see? Christ was Teddy Pendergrass black. Okay? Anybody come, the dark-skinned brother come to your mind, he was him. That was our big brother, our king Christ. He was that dark. Okay? Read on.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
Do you hear this brother read, man? Officer Palak, man? His voice is a sound of many waters. Christ had a deep voice.
Right.
You see? A lot of us brothers in here, or black people period, got deep voice. So much so, white people, what they say? We loud. We loud, unruly. They made a law after that. Go ahead.
We aggressive.
We aggressive. You know what I'm saying? We manly, man. We masculine.
Right.
Sisters, I know y'all know. When we tell y'all to turn around, ooh-wee. Moving on. But Christ had a deep voice. He had a very deep voice, and it was of a sound of many waters. Because you listen to the ocean. That's why people love to go to sleep to the sound of ocean sounds. Because that water clashing and smashing, it's a loud sound. You can hear it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay, so we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Daniel, chapter 10, and we're going to read verse 5 and 6.
Come.
Okay, I'm going to give him a second to get there. Let me see. I'm going to get an audience a little time to get there. You know, Christian church, man, they don't bring none of these scriptures out, and I wonder why.
Right.
Let me show y'all what I'm reading out of. This right here does not say my name. I'm not reading out the book of me. You see, this is not my opinion. Because opinions cannot contend with facts. Reading straight out the Bible. I'm giving you the book, chapter, and verse. So you can read it for yourself.
Right.
But we're going to teach it correctly. So you can understand that. Because a lot of things in the Bible, you can't read it literal. You go read, that's why when you go read in the Bible, you be like, what in the heck do that mean?
Right.
Because a lot of stuff in there is metaphors, man. And only black people can understand metaphors. I'll give you a quick example. You ever heard a nigga say, I'll slap the black off you? You know what I'm saying? White people look, slap the black off you. What he is, melted, he's scared. Oh, God, it's surgery? Man, shut up. This ain't for you anyway.
Right.
I say I'm 38 hot. Well, black people, we know that means mad. I say, man, made me 38, man. I'm 38 hot. Like a 38 gun, revolver. White people, you say, man, I'm 38. Oh, you're 38 degrees Celsius? Right. Get the hell out of here, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got that, brother? Read.
Book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 5. Then I lift up mine eyes.
This is Daniel. He lifted up his eyes. He about to give you a description of Christ. Daniel seen Christ too. And this description is going to be verbatim, word for word, that was in Revelations.
Right.
Which is this is to confirm Revelations. Go ahead. And in Revelations, that was John the Revelator. That was when he was on the island of Patmos. He was in prison. Guess what? John the Revelator was a nigga too. Today we got over 3,000 black and Hispanic men in prison. The island of Patmos is no different from Rikers Island.
Right.
You understand? And what we do, we sit in there and scribe. We writing letters back and forth to our loved ones. Well, that's what John the Revelator was doing when he was given the revelation of Jesus Christ in the book of Revelations. That's who wrote the book of Revelations, John the Revelator. All right, this is a whole other black prophet right here named Daniel. You understand? And Daniel in Hebrew is Daniel Allah. Okay, Daniel Allah. Okay, that's Daniel in Hebrew. You want to know the archangel Gabriel name? You want to know Gabriel's name, the angel? Gabar Ya Allah. You want to know what was Raphael, the healing angel? Rapar ya Allah. That's the language we spoke before they whooped English into our vocabulary.
Right.
You got that, brother? Go ahead.
Book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 5. Then I lift up my eyes and looked.
And he looked. Daniel lifted up his eyes and he looked and he seen something. Go ahead.
And behold.
And behold. You be like, what the? Behold. You know what I'm saying? He seen something. You know what I mean? He beheld something. Right. He captured, he observed something. Go ahead.
Right. A certain man clothed in linen.
A certain man clothed in linen. Go ahead.
Whose loins were girded with fine gold.
You see that? Go ahead.
Girded with fine gold.
Euphaz. Euphaz was a city known to have the finest gold. If you go look up Euphaz, it was a city and it was known to have the finest of the fine of gold. But Christ, he had on a golden war belt with the finest gold of Euphaz. You know what I'm saying? Read on. And it's telling you he had on that war garment, right, with fine gold, his war belt. It was solid gold. Hey, shalom, Lord Christ, sir. All right, read on.
That was it. That was it.
Okay, we're going to go to 6. Again, we in the book of Daniel, chapter 10. We just read verse 5 and broke it down. Now we're about to break down 6 because this is important. Because the Christian church love to tell us that color is not in the Bible. Well, we're going to let the Bible speak for the Bible instead of your big head Christian pastor. Go ahead.
Right. Book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 6. His face also was like the beryl.
You hear that? His body was also like the beryl, meaning the color of his garment. Beryl is green. That's what beryl means. Beryl is green because so Christ in the book of Revelation, that garment that he had on that came down to his foot, it was green. And it was green and he had on a golden war belt. Now if you black, Hispanic or Native Indian, you know good and well, all throughout our house, what is the colors in there? It's either green and gold, burgundy and gold, black and gold. You see what I'm saying? Right. It's just natural. Like, you know what I mean? We know what goes together because what? We the Israelites, man. We the salt of the earth. Right. We know what looks good. We ain't like them come on, the Edomites, they wear that plaid and that polka dot. Right. You see, looking like a box. Right. And they women, you know, just they behind just as flat as all get out. Okay, read on.
And his face has an appearance of lightning.
His face has appearance of lightning. He shine, man. You ever seen lightning strike before? You be like, oh, so he was very serious, man. Right. They feared Christ, man.
Right.
Not only did he shine, you know what I'm saying, but he had an appearance, man, that was striking like lightning, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? You look at some of the brothers in the UPK, brother. I'm talking about you look at them, you be like, shalom, brother. You know what I'm saying? You think twice if you know to say something to them out the way, right, or us out the way. You know what I mean? Christ was an austere man, man. He was very serious and he was feared. He wasn't to be taken like no sister. Read.
And his eyes as lamps of fire.
His eyes as lamps of fire. Remember in Revelation it said he had red eyes, right, as flame of fire. Right. Christ drank wine, man. It's not a sin to drink you some wine or liquor or beer. Right. Just don't become a drunkard or alcoholic. Read on.
Right. And his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass.
His what?
And his arms and his feet.
His what?
His arms and his feet.
This is describing his arms and his feet. The skin. What's on arms and feet? Skin. Right. On top of your arms and feet, there's something called skin. Right. It's about to tell you the color of that skin. Read.
In the color to polished brass.
You see that? His arms, his feet, like in color of polished brass. Again, he was a brown brother. Right. But just like in Revelation, it didn't just stop at brown, because a penny is brown. Polished brass is brown. Right. It say as if they burned in a furnace, meaning he was a very dark brother. You go to the Dominican Republic, You go to Mexico, Venezuela, Guatemala, you go to Cuba, you will see some very dark Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and Venezuelans and Mexicans and Native Indians. Very dark, man. Right. Negroes, very dark. You understand? Read.
And the voice of his words, like the voice of a multitude.
You see that? See, this is a mirror of what we was reading in Revelations that John the Revelator wrote, a black man that was in prison when he had the vision of Christ. This is Daniel's vision of Christ. And he said not only was he dark-skinned, that brother, he was serious all the time. And he had a deep voice. You know what I'm saying? There's other scriptures that describe Christ as being tall. You see? They say he wasn't fair, like he wasn't fair to look upon, so I guess he wasn't no handsome brother or whatever. But I can understand that because I ain't no handsome brother. But I tell you what, I ain't never had no problem getting no sister.
Right.
I got game. I don't need to be no pretty boy. You know what I'm saying? Women like a serious brother that they can take serious. Right. You in the mirror more than her. She don't want you, man. You more feminine than what she is. Right. You see? Drop that, brother. Let's go to Ezekiel, man. Let's see Ezekiel. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's prove God is black. Okay? Let's get the Most High. Let's go to Daniel 7 and 9. I'm about to prove to you God is black. We just proved that Christ is black. We got that lie out the way of that white boy. What it says your boy's here. Okay? The sixth Pope of Rome, Pope Alexander, that white boy says your boy's here. That's his second homosexual son. And he was having homosexual sex with Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci painted a picture of that white or that oppressed devil, right, and deceived the earth as that being Jesus Christ. Right. The Roman Catholic Church approved that picture to be an image of Christ. That's that graven image. That's that beast. You ever heard Mark of the Beast? That's the beast right there.
Right.
That image right there, man. That's the image that deceived the whole earth, man. They whitewashed our history. If you go back in the Renaissance, you go back in the Dark Ages, they called it the Dark Ages because black people ruled Europe for 1,000 years. Then, right after the Dark Ages came the Renaissance era, in which they start whitewashing all our history. Mozart, everybody was black. Shakespeare, they changed everybody. All the prophets to being white. They changed Mary from being a black woman to a white woman, which is why you got our Northern Kingdom brothers. You know what I'm saying? They in that Catholic Church heavy, man. They worship that Mother Mary, man. You'll see with a bunch of rosaries on around their neck, man. You see? And they deceived our brothers, man. Right. If you don't know Northern Kingdom, Israel was split into two kingdoms. You had the Southern Kingdom, which was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Today that would be Negroes. That would be Haitians and Jamaicans. And you got the Northern Kingdom, and that's where you get your Native Indians, your Mexicans, you know what I'm saying, your Cubans, Colombians, you know what I mean, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, people that's in, Central and South America predominantly. Now the scriptures say we're scattered, but predominantly the transatlantic trade, slave trade, was North, Central, and South America predominantly. Go ahead, brother.
Being Catholic was beating to them the same way Christianity was beating to us.
Good, nice. Say that again, brother.
Being Catholic was beating to them the same way Christianity was beating to us.
Man, give that brother a hand, man. You hear what that brother said? That brother said being Catholic to our Northern Kingdom brothers is what Christianity was to us. You see? They pushed the same Roman Catholicism. Now, who are the Romans? Oppressors, white people. Right. Those are the same white people that killed a black man named Jesus Christ. Right. His real name is Yahweh Shai Mashiach, but so y'all understand, Jesus Christ was a black man. Point blank, period. Now, we're going to prove that we just proved Christ is black. Now we about, you want the class? Hey, I'm pass the class over to Priest and Officer Lahai.
Brother. And the water for holding it down.
Yes, sir.
These brothers right here. real. You got something to drink? Like, give me your water. Water and any straw? No straw. All right, no sweat. I probably lost my voice up there. I don't know, but what Officer Shabaya Allah was bringing out was so heavy, man. Give me the water, brother?
Lay on the bar.
I don't know. You ain't got no room temperature water, brother? Ain't no room temperature one?
Maybe something.
I think that's what been messing me up. The heat, the heat, and then drinking cold water. Give me Genesis 3:1.
Malachi, Book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
And that's what the brother was. Shabaya Allah was, and his bringing out about Caesar Borgia and the Roman Catholic Church and the society changing the image of the true God of the Bible, right, and the true judge of the Bible. It created what we got today in our society, not the oppressive society, but blacks and Hispanics and Native Indian society.
Right.
It created brothers to kill each other in gangs.
Right.
Like General Muhammad always bring out. It created a hate between us. Like who hate each other more than another? Who hate a Mexican more than another Mexican? Who hate a black man more than another black man?
Right.
Because that image and the history behind that, like the brother was saying, the Christian church, the Catholic Church was to the northern tribes what Christianity or Baptist,
right,
Seventh-day Adventists was to the so-called tribe of Judah here in America. And it created that inferior mentality,
right,
and that crab in the barrel mentality.
Right.
Like if your brother, because that mentality steps down on you, right, it makes you be less than nothing. So when you look at another black man or another Hispanic man or another Native Indian, like you look at him and you look at yourself.
Right.
You say, man, he ain't nothing because I'm not nothing. Because I was taught to be nothing because my God is everything.
Right.
But also my God is who, oppresses me. So it must be that we're just nothing.
Right.
That's the history behind that. And that's the history about why we are destroyed today was because we had to accept that. And the way we accepted that was through subtlety. Read it again.
Malachi, Book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Now the serpent was more what?
Subtle.
Find out somebody find out the definition of subtile. What does subtile mean? Let me know when you got it.
Salami.
Go ahead.
Cunning, crafty.
Cunning. Go ahead. Crafty. Go ahead. Any more to that? Cunning and crafty, man. That's the history of the oppressor and the way he obtained, rulership on the earth.
Right.
Because it was a cunning thing to conquer you, to pulverize you, and tell you this is the only God that you're going to serve.
Right.
And when you die, if you're a good old slave, then you can be in the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
But until then, this is what you serve. And you must withstand and accept all form of oppression.
Right.
You must accept crack cocaine in your hoods,
right,
in your neighborhood, in your community. You must accept homosexuality in your community. And when your children go to school in the near future, you must accept us deciding to change the teachings of the real history to teach lies to your kids, so that our kids do not get offended by what the captain was having to bring out this weekend by race. What was it, Shemaiah? Critical race theory. Because we don't want them to learn that.
Right.
In the future, we're going to oppress you so bad, give you a false religion, because that's cunning. That's subtle. Dad, go ahead.
If I may, I got a precept.
Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
Come on. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 3 through 5. They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel, man. And not just them, not just the oppressor in the other nations.
Right.
They taking crafty counsel. They taking the count. They got with each other. They got with each other and said, this is how we're going to treat these niggas and these spicks.
Right.
And these savages, these Indians.
Right.
You know. And what was it? What was that one saying? Kill the Indian, save the what? Like, you understand what I'm saying? So it made it so when our kids watch TV, when the rest of society watch TV about John Wayne and cowboys, you know, killing these Indians, the Indians are vilified. The native Indians, Gad is vilified in those movies. Those old Western movies and stuff. Gad, go ahead.
Made out to be savage.
They made out to be savages. Right. Made out to be like animals. And what is it like if a human being is in the wilderness, right? And there's a pack of wolves that's about to attack you, right? Mm-hmm. And you got the weapons, adequate weapons to defend yourself, and you slaughter these wolves, right? You slaughter them, you pulverize them, you make them look okay. You just severely slaughter them, right? And then they make a movie about it, or they make a documentary about it, or whatever. It doesn't look evil, right? Right. It doesn't look evil because, especially if you have another, human child with you or a family, right? What is it saying? It's saying, no, man, that was right. He had to kill those wolves, that pack of hungry wolves, because, he had to kill them. Right. And it wasn't wrong. Oh, that was heroic. Right. That was a heroic thing to do to defend your family against this pack of wolves, against these savages, savage raven wolves. So what did the oppressor do? He put that stigma on our brothers, the tribe of Gad, called them savages. A savage is somebody with no conscience. Right. Go ahead.
That's what the word Indian means, savage.
And that's what the word Indian means, is savage. It's a savage, like he has no conscience, he has no education, he has no soul, because all he, like the way, so that when they portrayed in the movies, he just killed a bunch of Indians. It's nothing. Those aren't human beings. These Indians aren't human beings. They're nothing. They were threatening our villages. You understand what I'm saying? So that's another way to be subtle, to be cunning and crafty, to make it seem less. What do they call it? Less harsh when we look at these things. Right. You understand what I'm saying? That's cunning and subtle, man. Right. And then go ahead and finish it. Read on a little bit more on that.
Come. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Verse 4. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation.
Let us what?
They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation.
Let us cut them off from being a nation, man. Like, don't call them by who they are, who they truly are. Call them Indians. Call them wetbacks. Call them spicks. Right. Call them Hispanics. Right. Call them niggers.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Call them black. Call them like a color.
Right.
But if so, they won't look bad. We'll call us white.
Right.
White is pure though, you know. Like it's crafty, man. Like the oppressor is so crafty, man. And he was crafty since he realized who he was conquering.
Right.
Like don't think that the hierarchy of the oppressor, you know, doesn't know who they dealing with here in America. You understand what I'm saying? Don't think Pharaoh doesn't know that he has the Lord's people in oppression and in captivity.
Right.
Why you think America is so infatuated with Egyptian theology and Freemasonry that belongs to the culture of the Egyptians,
right.
and then the Eye of Horus and the pyramid and the All Seeing Eye and why Abraham Lincoln sits on the and you know what they call it, Lincoln Memorial, and they what don't they have in Washington? Don't they have like a what they call that thing? Go ahead.
The obelisk.
The obelisk. Where else they had that at?
They had that in Egypt.
They had that in Egypt.
Okay.
And who did Egypt oppress? Who did Egypt have as slaves? Go ahead.
Israelites.
The Israelites. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So the hierarchy of this place. Now I don't look into conspiracy theories, and I guess I used to do that when I was probably younger and didn't know the truth. But then it made sense. But you know, and it's not like the whole Illuminati thing and like anything like that, because you know, it's supposed to be a secret society. It ain't secret that people know about it, right?
Right.
You know, that's real, but there's a real secret society. That's, you know, the oppressor is just that deceitful. He's that cunning. Read that scripture, Palaya. Read that.
So God, book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Most High thy power had made.
And this is how you know, this is real race, critical race theory right here.
Right.
Like, the Bible is a slang book. The Bible is not, like, that's why so many people don't understand the scriptures. That's why the Christian church thinks that, Eve was really having a conversation with a snake.
Right.
Like a real literal python. And then the oppressor, he knows that was not true.
Right.
So what he do was like, man, let's confuse the earth. Let's confuse the world.
Right.
We'll make it like it was a real snake.
Right.
Like they really talked like it's a Harry Potter movie, basically. You know, like go ahead.
They'll illustrate. Like we'll illustrate. They'll just believe.
They'll illustrate apple. They'll illustrate a real serpent.
Right.
Like they'll even make. They'll even bring out in the History Channel where they said that the snake, because a snake has these little feet on their underbellies, right? And they said that at one point snakes could walk. Like you understand what I'm saying? But the scripture says that the serpent. Now a serpent really can mean many things. You understand what I'm saying? But the Lord described this man as a serpent.
Right.
Like saying, black people, Hispanic people, Native Indian people, we talking slang all the time. We say, man, that cat is a rat. Right. Like how you make a cat and a rat?
Right.
I mean, that cat's a rat. Like so, you understand what I'm saying? Like, we know what we're saying, but and the oppressor now knows what we're saying, but like somebody that really grew up taking everything literal.
Right.
You hear like that cat's a rat. What the hell? What was that? You understand what I'm saying? Well, what we're saying is that person is a slithering piece of garbage. Right. That's that he'll tell on. We know what we mean. Same thing with the prophets in the Bible.
Yeah, I'm right.
When Moses wrote this scripture, read it again.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Most High thy power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said.
All right, just drop that. Read it one more time.
Book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Most High thy power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, had God said.
All right. So, I brought this out to say what Shabaya Allah was bringing out earlier, that, Ziza Borgia was the picture that they gave us of who Christ was.
Right.
That's a subtle and that's a cunning and crafty way to conquer the earth, man.
Right.
Because when you, like, if I conquer a people and I, obliterate them, and I pulverize them to nothing, and I destroy their mentality, and I destroy and I take away their identity, right? Because I'm gonna go a little bit into why we say this, and I knew who they were. I knew that they disobeyed their power,
Right.
so I got the up on them. Don't think that the oppressor didn't know that we disobeyed our power.
Right.
Don't think that. Don't think. Go ahead.
It's like, and so here's what you bring it out, sir, because they know this so much so that they know it's a sin to eat pork, and they put pork in everything.
Man, that's not by coincidence, man.
Right.
Like it is a sin for black and Hispanics to eat pork, man.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you what. When we was slaves or when we was oppressed, the slave master gave you, of course he eat it, but he didn't eat like the chitlins. He gave you, and he told you that the pork you can eat it from the rooter to the tutor.
Right.
But he didn't eat it from the rooter to the tutor. He probably just ate, the pork chop and the ham. You ate the brains, the eggs, you ate the everything, man. And we had to eat that. I know, that just added more separation between us and our power. You understand what I'm saying? And that's subtlety.
Right.
The serpent was just like the serpent knew to tell Eve to disobey the Lord.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's a lot.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's so heavy what you bring out because you got Christians in the Christian church. They be like, well, I'm 63 and I've been eating pork all my life. Ain't nothing happened to me. But your son was right.
Right.
Something did happen to you.
Right. Man, that's the destruction. That's the subtlety that the oppressor. Like you said, our people want to say. Our people like to deny. Like we like to deny our problems.
Right.
We not like our children are on drugs. Our children are destroyed.
Right.
But we say that, oh man, we've been eating pork all our lives.
Right.
Even the ones that think they're smart or awakened, I can see that they're just charlatans, man. And they're just charlatans trying to get money off. Like, if it's not the Israelite school, UPK is nothing, man.
That's right.
Like, you understand what I'm saying? And listen, it was sidebar for a little bit, man. If there's no leader on the earth but the UPK. Man.
That's right.
There ain't none, man. It's going to be a lot of charlatans popping up.
Right.
Because social media and all of that is making people rich off of controversy.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you how you're gonna know who the true prophets and who the true leaders and who God really sent on earth.
Right.
Listen, the UPK, we've been controversial since 1969.
That's right.
And we still have to beg people our people. We had to beg our people to support us, man.
Right.
Wow, there's charlatans that make a overnight name because they think they doing something, but yet smoke weed, still smoke weed,
right.
Still whore out women.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Still are creating tension between the community they say they're trying to save. They're not. They're really not. Right. They're just getting rich off of controversy, man. Right. The Israelite School UPK, we're not in this business. We're not in the business of saving the Lord's people to obtain wealth and just leave. Right. And just leave our people to rot and to perish, man. Because we follow Christ, man. And Christ was like that.
That's right.
And you know what the scripture says, you shall know them by their fruit, man. And that's what we do, man. We try to show our fruits, man. But once again, going back to the serpent was crafty and subtle. He told Eve, hey, if you eat of this tree, if you go against God, you're gonna be like God.
Right.
What does America tell our women now to these days? You don't need a man.
Right.
You don't need that power.
Right.
You are that power. You are God. Your womb is God.
Right.
You know, lie to the black and Hispanic woman, man.
Right.
And then these women become lesbians, end up with another woman, fight. I mean, it's just total destruction and unruly, you know, a lifestyle where there's no discipline and one day both of them will grow up old and lonely.
Right.
You think two women are gonna live? Think about it. Think about your great grandparents. Think about the old folk. Like them grandmas, them old grandmas, they stayed with that man, right? A lot of them back before segregation, and back in when we had a little bit of decency still, right? Because they knew that one day we're going to be old, and this man still have more strength than I.
Right.
You understand? And the children will still respect him more than me. So that they can, you know, because out of respect for the man, they're going to take care of us. Because if that man was righteous, he was going to teach honor your father and your mother, right?
That's right.
Two women that get together, right? And you know the lifestyle they live. That lifestyle brings a lot of other things with it, right? You think they're going to one day really end up together in old age, man? Both old, they'll be both old and bitter, man. Go ahead, Al.
Maybe they're gonna adopt a future school shooter.
They're gonna. Good night. You was gonna say something? Yeah. What I'm saying is that's not natural.
Right.
So one day nobody will be around to love them, man.
Right.
We say it out of love, man.
Right.
We saying this stuff out of love. We tell our women that it is wrong for them to be loudmouth dragons.
That's right.
We tell our women it is wrong for them to wanna belittle a man because the oppressor already destroys a black and Hispanic man,
Right.
and then you want to belittle. That's a sin.
Right.
That's going against you being deceived by the most subtle beast of the field, man.
Right.
And once again, I brought that out because Shabayala right, man, that the Caesar Borgia and all of that was the subtlety.
Right.
That's the craftiness of the oppressor, man.
Oh,
And it comes from the hierarchy and the people that made it their history, how they validated the oppressor of this society, validated their history. Their leaders knew these things.
Right.
And I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna prove it right now how they knew who they was conquering. This is I think I went over it last time in the last history class I taught. It's still this book right here. It has a lot of heavy knowledge, right? A lot of heavy scripture, man. It's called Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, man. And we're gonna read a little bit into it. Go ahead.
Got me a precept on.
Go ahead, bring it out.
All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man. And his number is 666.
Yeah, so the beast, the number of the beast is the number of a man. Mm-hmm. Basically saying the beast is the man.
That's right.
The oppressor is the beast.
That's right.
He's the most subtle beast.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
and he knew he had to be subtle to conquer the Lord's people. Right. And he knew who he was conquering, man. Now, I'm about to bring out some real race critical, what they call it? Critical race theory history. They won't teach this. Listen, they're already trying to take away the transatlantic slave trade from the history books.
Right.
They're already trying to take away the Trail of Tears from the history books,
Right.
from their history books. So basically, our children, right? Our children, they're going to go and still be integrated into their society. Will never know.
Right.
Will never know who they really are. That's another form of stripping you from your identity.
Right.
You're gonna, for all you know, one day they'll make up another byword of you and call you that.
Right.
But because they don't want their children looking in the mirror
Right.
and who they are.
That's right.
So it's like, nah, we're not gonna teach about Columbus and the murderers. They did it with Columbus already.
Right.
We didn't know Columbus was a murderer. We didn't know that.
Right.
Growing up when we was Columbus Day, Christopher Columbus discovered America, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, and he discovered America. And then you realize, well, how did he discovered? So basically, the people were just so dumb they didn't know that there was a people.
Right.
They didn't know that there was a land. They didn't know anything. They were just running around naked, just eating, with no knowledge of anything.
Right.
Yet when the so-called oppressor came over to the coasts of the Carolinas and America, the Native Indians taught them how to survive that.
Right.
The Native Indians taught them how to hunt, how to fish, how to grow crop.
Right.
They learned that from the tribe of Gad.
Right.
But Columbus, man, he was revered. He was revered, man. But the real history of Columbus is that he was really just a murderer.
Right.
Cortez was not a conqueror. He was really a pirate,
Right.
a thief. But they knew who they was conquering.
That's right.
Go ahead,
I was gonna say it's cunning for them to put us in, Pilgrim and Indian planes as kids, just to keep us destroyed.
Right.
As little children, putting us in the mindset of Pilgrims and Indians and coming together to have a dinner. But the reality is something different.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Say that again, Palaya.
I was saying, even in the development of us as kids, it was cunning for them to put us in plays, Pilgrim and Indian plays as kids, and go through their whole fiasco of what they wanted you to know as a kid, as a reality.
Yeah. That's just, what I'm saying, like, so lock it, bro. Say it one more time.
I said just to further as a kid, it would put us in Pilgrim and Indian plays.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember.
Keep us
Yeah, to keep it like the Pilgrim and the Indians. Yeah, like, but we thought they really celebrated that. We really thought even Thanksgiving.
Right.
They were so told about that. They were crafty about that, not knowing that was really murder. Like they really murdered the Native Indians.
Right.
Their feast was for the oppressor.
Right.
That dinner, that famous dinner, and if you can look it up, if you can find it for me, and I think they had it in Louisiana. It's like it was a treaty that the oppressor was gonna find his words are smoother than butter. And I'm gonna bring this out here in a little bit. It was a treaty in Louisiana, and I think there wasn't a Louisiana treaty, and it was Thanksgiving was supposed to be where the Native Indians, I believe the oppressor invited the Native Indians to a dinner, so that they can come to agreements about the land and all of that. But while they was already plotting to ambush these Native Indian leaders, and that's what they did. They murdered.
Right.
They kicked their head when they murdered, chopped their heads off, and kicked them around like soccer balls, man. And then ate a feast afterwards, and called it Thanksgiving.
Right.
They was thankful that they murdered these savages. Go ahead.
I think it's Plymouth Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Give it to me. Give it to me real brief. You got it? Go ahead, give me that scripture, Shabbat.
Come. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Because that's what happened, man. The oppressor came over here, and just like Columbus, just like all of these Cortez, all of these murderers and thieves, critical race theory, real critical race theory.
Right.
They came here with smooth words, man.
Right.
And I read this, and I'm not saying this is true or not, but they said that they deceived Moctezuma, which was the Aztec emperor at the time, right? And told him that all they was looking for was gold, right? And they said that, and I think it's in this book. I'm gonna read. I think I'm gonna find that later on. That they suffer from a disease that only gold could cure, right? Now our people because our customs changed when we came over here. We really forgot about our true power. We were deceived.
Right.
We were easily deceived by the oppressor. And so Moctezuma thought that by him just giving him gold, a bunch of gold, that they would just leave. Well, they didn't know that they opened Pandora's box.
Right.
That just confirmed to the oppressor that there was so much wealth in his land.
Right.
And they was going to exploit it by any means. And that these people wasn't like, they might have been warriors, but they wasn't technologically advanced.
Right.
Not because, they wasn't smart, but because they basically started from scratch again.
Right.
Go ahead.
And it's known in history, one of them explorers, they wrote in their documentary that these people, like
how docile.
Surely they were made to be servants.
Right. They was docile, and they knew that because they were the Lord's people.
Right.
Because they disobeyed the Lord, they were surely meant to they weren't going to have no problem conquering these people.
Right.
Did you find that? So hold on, before you get that. So with that being said, that's Columbus. That's after he didn't discover. He just found the Lord's people.
Right.
That's real critical race theory. Critical race theory, right? That's what they call it. Shemaiah, go ahead.
And if I may, he didn't even find he didn't find us. Queen Elizabeth summoned him to go. They read up on us and where we were dispersed, where we went to. They read up on us, and the Queen of England sent them to go rape, rob, murder us, and bring back all the way up to the Queen.
Right.
And kept sending them back.
Right. Listen, there's scripture Psalm 83 that they are Confederate. They found the northern tribe, and then they knew where the southern. They knew where the Jews was at. They were in the west coast of Africa. The Romans knew where they flew to.
Exactly.
They conspired with the Africans so they could round up the tribe of Judah.
Right.
How you think, man? The most subtle beast of the field, man. And now, where's the tribe of Judah and his brothers at? They're in Egypt.
Right.
They're in Egypt again.
Right.
Like the Bible prophesied. You understand what I'm saying? Read that for me real quick, Palaya.
Former chairman of the anthropology department at the University of Connecticut says in the first official Thanksgiving Day celebrated a massacre of 700 Indian men, women, and children during one of their religious ceremonies. Thanksgiving Day was first proclaimed by the governor of Massachusetts in 1632 to commemorate the massacre of 700 men, women, and children who were celebrating their annual Green Corn Day.
They were celebrating the Green Corn Day. So it was the oppressor was going to use a feast day that just a day that the Native Indian, once again, the Native Indians, the tribe of Gad, also disobeyed the Lord by keeping their own feast days, by worshiping the wind and the star and the moons. So the Lord was basically our power was not with us at this time, and the oppressor and the serpent was able to be subtle and be crafty and be cunning and say, okay, they're not serving their power. So what does that mean? That means that we can overpower them.
Right.
Because they knew they knew about the scriptures now. They conquered. How you think the Romans was able to conquer the Maccabees and them and end up taking control of Judea?
Right.
Go ahead.
It's here what you bring it out. That's where the whole manifest destiny theory comes from.
Come.
You can use this to find.
Exactly, and I'm about to bring it out real quick. Is that it on that?
No.
You give me that scripture again, Shabayala. So basically, the oppressor used an excuse of a feast, try to come to an agreement with the native Indians, but in reality, ambushed them, slaughtered them, claimed the land, called it Thanksgiving, and they told us when we was in school that the Indians and the Puritans came together and ate a big feast. And harmony and peace, right. And then you was like, well, where the native Indians at now?
Right.
Where's Squanto? Where's Sitting Bull at? Where he at? Oh no, they're in reservations.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, well, why are they over there? Because we murdered for that. We murdered to have them over there, man. Right. Then you learn about the Aztecs. Oh, the Aztecs is just, they were just some savages, sacrifice their own people. All they did was just sacrifice. And I think Captain Contazar brought it out that was just white propaganda.
Right.
Just to vilify us, man. Right. Just like they vilify the so-called Negro in America by making these movies about all just drug dealing, man.
Right.
See, we don't even know that we're falling into their trap.
Right.
By accepting these roles of just playing drug dealers and playing, of course, that is the reality in our society for the most part, but they make it like it feeds into our mind that that's what we're supposed to be. Go ahead.
That's him because we just mimicking them. Your real gangsters was the Scarface and
right.
Right.
Excited. Oh, but when it come time to talk about their gangsters and their criminal and their crimes, it's more like, oh, that's just it was honorable. The Godfather.
Right.
He was just honorable. The Godfather and these rich, and the New York Mafia. And you understand what I'm saying? Even though it's a crime, it's looked at like, yeah, well, they held their honor and they live by this code of honor and honorable this and honorable that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, but us, man, now they're just drug dealers, Smokey, the crackhead.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, Frank Lucas, the heroin addict. I mean, the heroin dealer that destroyed, his people.
Right.
Well, he wasn't the only one, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but the way they made it seem like he just had everything to do with it.
Right.
Not knowing that it was America that was allowing this type of things going on.
Right.
Like it was just like black people just all of a sudden were just masterminds. The only thing that black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indian people could be smart enough to do is crime. But not even that smart because we get caught by the oppressor. Because at the end of the day, he's going to be the hero.
Right.
He's going to be the hero. It was America. Listen, that story with Frank Lucas, that wasn't even the movie. It was a lie. Like, the army knew what was going on.
Right.
American army knew what was going on. They allowed it. Go ahead.
That's it what you bring it out because the drugs come from the CIA conscious camp.
Man, all of that. We know we know about COINTELPRO.
Right.
And what's that guy? What's the name of that guy? COINTELPRO and Captain just told me about it. Ronald Reagan, but the guy that actually was working these deals. He was just talking about it.
Rick Ross.
Not Rick Ross. Okay. The captain was just saying when we was at camp last week. I can't think of. But that's just how subtle the oppressor is, man. Right. He vilify you while he's allowing you to commit these. I used to grow up growing up. I grew up listening, and I found out it was true. But like knowing like big drug dealers, right? They say, yeah, man, how was he able to? Oh yeah, this was the kingpin for 20 years, and then he finally got busted, and they say, no, well, we was building a case on him for 20 years. Like, how do you allow, like, how wicked and vile you gotta be to allow a man, create a drug empire, for 20 years because you're trying to build a case to lock him up and throw away the key.
Right.
And what that came with is you supplied him the drugs too.
Right.
You entrapped him.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks.
That's right.
You understand? He used to bother me like, yeah, well, how he don't get caught? Like, he don't know that. Yeah, everybody knew he was the dope boy. Everybody knew.
Right.
Everybody knew that was the man. But yeah, man. But they finally busted him. They was building a case for him. They was building him a 5-year, 10-year case. They were just building it. Like, damn, like, so you mean to tell me y'all let him do it?
Right.
5, 10 years? Right. So you let him destroy people, murder people, you let him be a criminal for 10 years. You knew about it.
Right.
But you just let him because what you didn't want to do is you didn't want to give him 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Right. You wanted to make sure when you locked him up, you threw away the key.
Right.
But that cause and effect was destruction of a whole community, man.
Right.
Go ahead, Al.
I was going to say, like, what you said, it's a win-win for them. Because not only we'll destroy our communities with the dope they bring in, but we'll fill the prisons up, you know what I'm saying? We'll kill ourselves, we'll kill our brothers and sisters over. And then, like you said, drugs are funding the war. So they win.
Yeah, the oppressor wins if we don't have our power, if we don't have the law, statutes, and commandments. The oppressor is going to win because his subtlety and whatever he knows about us, he knows that these people don't have the Lord with them.
Right.
These people don't have God with them.
Right.
We knew this is Columbus.
Right.
Columbus knew who they were. Now, so this is called the Lost Tribes and Promised Land. Critical race theory right here. I'm going to read an excerpt. I'm going to read a little bit about this. And in here, it's going to explain briefly how Columbus knew. And then we're going to bring it out in the book of Ezra. How Columbus knew where the other 9.5 tribes were at. Where they were. How he quote unquote discovered America. Right? So, Shabaya Allah, start me off. It's a long part. It's Lost Tribes and Promised Land. It's on page 75. And listen, chapter 6, and it's called Enter Columbus. If y'all ever read, y'all need to read this right here. It's called Enter Columbus. That's a chapter, and it's gonna I'm not gonna read it all because it's long, but we're gonna read some key things. All right. So, brother. You got another one copy of this? You don't, don't you? You have another copy of this? Y'all don't have a copy of this? All right. I'm going to recommend y'all brothers to get this book right here just to have it. It ain't but like a few dollars, $20, $25. I was bringing it up the last time. This book, when I first came into truth, right, you couldn't get this book on Amazon. I mean, you could, but it was like $1,000. That used to cost, that's what, this was back in 2015. 2015, this book at first was $1,000. Man. This book was $1,000. So if you went to college and you wanted to learn this type of history, you had to come out $1,000 for a book like this. Man. Why would a book be so expensive? Man? And now I don't know why it's so cheap now. I think it's because I don't really know why it's so cheap. Maybe they made the copy different, the whatever. But now because the UPK made this book popular.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But this is not our book. This is a book written by Ronald Sanders, a white man. It's a compelling analysis of facts, beliefs, legends, superstitions, and the ways in which they interact to shape America's racial history. Man. So start me off. Start me off right here, Shabbat. Start me up. Start me up right there.
Right here.
That one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna briefly go into you. The story of Columbus is Columbus, and they put this in the movies, man. They put this in. I think they put. You ever seen that movie, Assassin's Creed?
Yeah,
You remember that movie, Assassin's Creed? Okay, so in that movie, Assassin's Creed, supposedly Columbus was like an assassin. Eventually, they was protecting. They wanted to obtain some. I forget, but it made it. They prompted that he would find America because he was reading in the Bible, and this is what this is saying. Columbus was Christian, a Catholic, but the Catholic Church had the Bible and had the other 14 books of the Bible they don't teach in modern day Christianity, which is the Apocrypha.
Right.
This book right here is 14 books that were removed from the original King James version of the Bible.
Right.
And it was removed for a reason. Because if these books would have been accepted in there, then a lot of truth will come out. Right. A lot of things will make sense.
Right.
But when you take this out, you can't put the puzzle. The puzzle is missing the pieces.
Right.
So now you can kind of hide the reality of things.
Right.
Now it's not about the people no more. It's about everybody.
Right.
God loves everybody. Everybody can reach salvation because you're missing certain parts of the truth.
Right.
So read where it begins. Read where I told you the beginning of that page.
Come. This is the book of Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, page 79, first paragraph. But meanwhile, the apocryphal Esdras, which was, by the way, a book of special importance to many new Christians, has a good deal to say about the original lost tribes.
The what? The what?
Has a good deal to say about the original lost tribes.
The what?
Has a good deal to say about the original lost tribes.
The original lost tribes.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So today, the so-called Jewish people are not the original
That's right.
lost tribes of Israel. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the book that they're talking about, the Apocrypha.
Right.
That's what this author knew. He knew that Columbus knew about this book.
Right.
Well, he knew about that everything, but he knew also about this other books in the Bible that were there from the very beginning. But did you know that most of our Christian parents and today, modern day Christianity, don't know nothing about this?
Right.
They don't have no clue.
Right.
We didn't have no clue.
Right.
Read on.
Come. And this could not have passed rightly under Columbus's somewhat mystical gaze. Surely he saw the special meaning for his own times and for himself. In this passage in 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 2 through 5.
And then what? Passage where?
Passage in 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 2 through 5.
Listen, he talking about this book right here. That's a book written by somebody else, right? And this ain't the UPK's own. Go ahead. The UPK been saying it, but go now. You good? You can watch. This ain't the UPK. Like this is a so-called Edomite that's bringing something heavy out.
Right.
Like that book. I mean, that book right there. Once again, it was about. It has a lot of things about. Read the. Hold that, and go to the first, the cover, and read what it says at the bottom.
Come. This is the book of Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, the origins of American racism, by Ronald Sanders.
The what?
This is the book of Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, the origins of American racism.
The ordinance.
Origins.
The origins of this white man knew that America had the origins of the racist mentality of America.
Right.
So he's writing about that. But he's using historical facts to prove why America and the society is racist against these people.
Right.
Well, certain people. Right? Read on.
A compelling analysis of facts, beliefs, legends, superstitions, and the ways in which they interacted to shape America's racial history.
So in this book, there's facts. There's what else? Facts,
beliefs, legends,
superstitions,
and the ways in which they interacted to shape American racial history.
and all of this was the cause of what America's racist mentality is.
Right.
So this Caucasian man went and did extensive research about why this place is the way it is, and then he wrote about Columbus, about the real history, about the real Columbus, not discovering, not the one that we think is was this nice guy
Right.
that discovered this explorer. He wasn't even an explorer. He's a thief.
Right.
He was looking for something.
Right.
Read on. But now go back to where you was.
From the top of
Now keep reading where you was reading.
come. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the ways thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whosoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men.
See now, Ezra, this is after Christ. This Bible was put together after the death of Christ, right?
Right.
Columbus read about this man amongst a multitude of gathering, right? See, Columbus had a little something in his brain. That's just maybe the Lord made him look at it like this, right? Read on.
Out of the number from which the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But this warlike multitude is subdued by the man from the sea.
So he thought in his mind that he was the man from the sea. Yeah, read on.
And then another multitude, a peaceable one, comes to him. Whereof some were glad, some were sorry, some of them were bound, and the other some of them that were offered. That this brought him slaves from their midst.
That what?
That this brought him slaves from their midst.
So he thought, okay, I'm the man coming from the sea. I found this peaceful multitude. Is that what he is? He reciting what Ezra is reciting?
Yeah, that was the first thing
Okay.
Now it's him.
Oh, now it's him? Okay, so he's saying that these peaceable people are good slaves.
Right.
That's what it meant. Read on.
Come. That is, brought him slaves from their midst. How could the exalted missionary Columbus not have seen an image of himself in this? Certainly after his voyages of American discovery, but perhaps even earlier after making some voyages to Guinea coast during his young years in Portugal. If Columbus did indeed glimpse himself in the role of the man from the sea, then Ezra's, the identification of peaceful multitude, takes on special significance. And this
So
13.
yeah, so basically Columbus read the Apocrypha and he interpreted to think that he was the man that was supposed to find this peaceable multitude and make them slaves. That's what he interpreted. But he knew that they were he knew that they were the children of Israel. Though.
Right.
Read on.
Let's go ahead and recite the book of Exodus.
Read it.
Ezra chapter 13, verse 40 through 42. Those are the 10 tribes.
Those are what?
Those are the 10 tribes.
And Columbus read this. He said, "Oh man." He read the Apocrypha and he read what? Those are what?
Those are the 10 tribes.
Those are the 10 tribes. It was 9.5, but 10 because some of the Levites stayed with the Jews. Go ahead.
Which were carried away prisoners out of their own land.
They were what?
Which were carried away prisoners out of their own land.
They were carried away prisoners. this is in a history book, and they get that scripture from from these they call it the Apocrypha, which means, what is the Apocrypha? Give me the definition of the Apocrypha.
Biblical books received by the early church as a part of the Greek version of the Old Testament.
But there's no definition of apocryphic, apocryphic or apocrypha. Hold on. Go ahead.
Time check. 8:26.
Count the water.
Yeah.
Definition is biblical or related writings not forming part of the accepted canon of Scripture.
That means it's not accepted. There was not a. They did not accept. They named it that because the Catholic Church said, no, we don't accept these books. Go ahead.
And the reason why the Catholic Church said, no, we don't accept this book, because if you do, you would have to recognize
the
10 tribes.
You will have to recognize who the real Jews are.
That's right.
Who the real Israelites are. Go ahead. It's cunningness, man. It's cunningness, because then what? One day you could just say, oh, you just Indians.
Right.
We could just say whatever. Yeah, or you came from the Bering Strait.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Like, oh no, you migrated to America.
Right.
Instead of naming it the transatlantic slave trade, we're gonna name it the transatlantic migration.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, if we would have took you from Africa, then you wouldn't have been great. You wouldn't have been what you are now.
Right.
You would have been out there killing, living in huts still. Go ahead.
And Slovakia, of course, that would have been allowed, because even when we were in Africa, we had our own land called Land of Judah.
Land of Judah. That's in that book too. That's in that book too. Go ahead. Read on.
Those are the 10 tribes, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of O.C. the king.
Hosea, like at one point, and this is in the Apocrypha, but this is also in the Bible, where the tribes of Israel, because after the kingdom was split for Solomon, the Assyrians and the rest of the nations conquered us and took us away captive. It took us away captives. And made and this was under Hosea, under Hosea. Go ahead, read it again. Those were
away prisoners out of their own land in the time of O.C. the king, whom
Salmanassar,
the king of Assyria, led away captive.
Salmanassar, yeah, the king of Assyria led away captive. We were under the Assyrian Empire.
Right.
That's where we were at. When Christ came and was born in Judea, those tribes were no longer here.
Right.
Those tribes are no longer here. The Maccabees and all of those brothers, they were fighting the southern tribe were fighting against the Greeks and the Romans without their brothers. Go ahead.
And it's like I said, a lot of Christians don't even know that the prodigal son is talking about the northern kingdom.
God, they don't know. They don't know that. Read on.
Whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land.
They came to another land, man. Columbus read that. Columbus read that, man. He read that and said, wait a minute. So we know about this part of the land. We know about all of this. So where did he carry them? Where are they at?
Right.
Where are the original Israelites?
Right.
Where are they? If we're going to believe in the religion of Christianity, And if it's true, then it must be true that they are still around.
That's right.
But they're just not around here.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They're just not around here. They must be somewhere.
Right.
I'm going to find them.
Right.
And I'm going to conquer them.
That's right.
Read on.
But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of heathens and go forth into a farther country.
Listen, when the tribes were captives in the Assyrians, they talked it among themselves. And man, we gotta leave these. We gotta leave. They were just utterly destroyed, man. And just like today, what do we say? Man, we gotta leave America.
Right.
So we know that the only way we can have some type of salvation is to get away from our oppressor.
Right.
So they knew that. I mean, we gotta get away from these heathens. Read on.
And go forth into a further country.
And leave, run away.
Right.
Naturally, read on.
Where never mankind dwelt.
Where what?
Where never mankind dwelt.
Where never what?
Never mankind dwelt.
We're gonna go to another land. Listen, what the officer is reading is from that book, Lost Tribes and Promised Land. But I got the scripture right here. It's in this book called the Apocrypha.
Right.
The same verse, the same thing he's reading, I'm reading right here. And this is what Columbus read. And that's what this Caucasian man was writing in his book. He said, man, Columbus read this. And once he read these scriptures, his brain started working.
Right.
I was like, wait a minute. So the other Jews are, we know where they at. They in Africa. They over there with the Africans. But where the other tribes?
Right.
It's supposed to be 12, but you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Read on.
That they might there keep their statutes.
Yeah, because we left to get away from the heathen, go to a land where no man dwelt, that we might keep the Lord's statutes. That we might obey the Lord. Start from scratch. A fresh start, man. Why you think a lot of us black and Hispanic, man, we always think about moving somewhere else.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like we're gonna be better. Like, I just gotta move to a new state, start from scratch.
Right.
Like that ain't how it works, man. Right. Read on. That's not how life works. Read on.
Which they never kept in their own land.
We never kept our laws in our own land. That's why we were taken away captive to begin with.
Right.
That's why we ended up under the Assyrians.
Right.
And we decided to say, let's get away from them. Let's run away and see if we can obey the Lord somewhere else. They couldn't run back to Jerusalem, because I was already conquered too.
Right.
Read on.
Ezra's interpretation of the peaceable multitude then goes on to say that the lost tribes entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river.
And then in the Apocrypha, it explains how they left. They went through the Euphrates River. They left, and read on.
Which they were able to ford because God stopped the flow of the waters for them.
And not even that. What do all rivers lead to? Go ahead.
The Euphrates lead to North Central South America.
No. Where do all rivers lead to? All rivers. Well, all natural rivers. What do they go to?
Into the ocean.
To the ocean. So they took them to the ocean.
Right.
The great river. Read on.
Waters for them.
And then the Lord, at that time, the Lord was with us. He made the ocean calm. Like just like how he split the Red Sea, and he made the ocean calm. Because traveling across the Atlantic Ocean is not no easy task.
Right.
It's some hurricanes and tornadoes and water spout, all of that, ravaging sea, man. You can't just, and it means to tell you that the black and Hispanic, we're not dummies, man. We've been had the knowledge to travel in the ocean. We've been know about navigation.
Right.
Read on.
And then traveled another year and a half to a region called Azareth.
And the trip was how long?
A year and a half to a region called
Azareth. And to a region called Arsaret, man. Now don't hold me to this. But I believe they said that we was traveling to America's in Solomon's time. We knew we came to God certain woods from America. I mean, I believe that's somewhere. Don't hold me to that. I'm not saying that's a fact, but I think I read about it where King Solomon would get certain wood from, and he would make that travel to come get. I think they got it in the history books, man. And once again, there's no new thing under the earth, man. The children of Israel, we've been knowing about this earth. We've been knowing the earth. We're not like those flat earth theories. We know the earth is a globe. We've been knowing about this, man. We serve the most high power, man. You think our priests, man, they were the scientists. Our priests was the scientists with all the knowledge.
That's right.
With all the understanding of the workings of the Most High, man.
Right.
When the Lord is with us, man, we are a powerful nation.
That's right.
With all wisdom. When we feel the scriptures say that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
That's
man.
right.
We fear the Lord, we got all the wisdom, man. We're the smartest.
Right.
We're the wisest. We're the geniuses, man.
That's right.
That's real race critical theory, man.
Yeah, right.
Like, who invented a cell phone? There was a so-called Judah, a so-called Negro invented a cell phone, man.
Right.
Like a lot of American inventions were stolen from the slaves.
That's right.
Was stolen from the slaves, man. A lot of that, man. Columbus found a clean city. The Aztecs built these great cities, man. He found a clean city. Listen, the Mexico City or where the Aztec, Hernan Cortez came and found this so-called tribe of Isupk. They built a city on a swamp. You know what kind of engineering you got to know to build a city on a swamp? Like you just can't build a city on a swamp, man. Like you know like stone and concrete and stonework, like. But they had that type of engineering, man. We built Egypt.
Right.
Who built America today? Black and Hispanics, man.
That's right, man.
Come on, man. You can't tell me that the Lord's people are not so-called Black Hispanics and Native American Indians. Columbus knew they were. Read on, brother. I got the time. I got the time. Go ahead.
Come. And then traveled another year and a half to a region called Arseret.
That's what we knew this place to be called. Read on.
Evidently a Greek corruption of the Hebrew arts. Arseret, another country. There.
Arseret means another country. Go ahead.
There, they were to remain until the latter time.
They were to what?
There, they were to remain until the latter time.
When Christ came and he came for the lost 12 tribes of the house of Israel, Christ knew about these people.
Right.
Christ knew they're there right now. One day, the truth will be given to them too. And that's what the Israelite school UPK is, man. And we found the truth, and the truth is here.
That's right.
Fine. This is the latter days. Find where it says, give me the book of Revelations, Pelaya, where it says the woman traveled with and the earth helped her. The earth helped her. Go ahead and read on, Shabaya Allah.
There, they were to remain until the latter time. And now, when they shall go, Salaki, and now, when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay in the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore, sawest thou the multitude with peace. We are already familiar with much of this terrain. As for the man from the sea, Ezra identifies him, chapter 13, verse 26, as he whom God, the highest, hath kept a great season.
So, listen, Columbus was just like any old wicked oppressor, man,
Right.
that imagined and devised wickedness. So he read this and he interpreted that he was the man from the sea.
Right.
Because that's what he thought, like that's what he knew he was doing. He was about to be in the water, in the sea. And like, it must be meant for me to find these people.
Right.
And that must be meant for me to enslave them, to conquer them. Yeah, but he had wicked intentions. But he also knew, like I believe Columbus was part of, he's part of the hierarchy of oppressive society.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They're the ones that believe in whatever, and they know about their forefather Esau.
Right.
They know about, about the Israelites in Egypt. They know that the Lord's people will not be protected by the Most High if they are not keeping His law, statutes, and commandments, man.
Right.
So so Columbus said, man, yeah, I can find it. Okay, they're not here. They're somewhere. They must be across.
Right.
It must be that way. They must be there, and I'm gonna go find it. I bet you I'm gonna run into them. I promise I'm gonna run into them. Hey, if I would have read it, I would have did the same thing too.
Right.
I mean, like, well, they're not here. They must be over there. Read on.
Which by his own self shall deliver his creature. In other words, the Messiah. Did Columbus have any messianic pretensions?
So he said, well, I must be their Messiah. I must be their Savior. Read on.
There is a decidedly messianic element in the lost Caesar's library treatment of him years after his death. But that could be more lost says than Columbus. The discoverer himself clearly was a man of enormous ambition, lofty conviction,
Of what?
Enormous ambition.
Of enormous ambition, like every so-called Caucasian man. Always over ambitious, man.
Right.
So ambitious that they're willing to drain and destroy the earth for their ambition, man.
Right.
Over ambition, enormous ambition, man. Like, it's okay to have ambition. It's okay for men to be ambitious, right? But what it ain't okay is for men to be overly ambitious to the point where you don't care about destroying anybody or anything to obtain your goal.
Right.
That's the oppressor. Right. That's Esau.
That's right.
That's the so-called white man. Read on.
Lofty conviction and unshakable confidence in his own destiny. And though these traits alone hardly make for a messianic pretender, they are given his mystical streak and the messianic order of the age. A step in that direction. It is well known that he developed in his writings and correspondence certain symbolic flourishes of virtual, mystical, one is tempted to say Kabbalistic import, such as his remarkable signature. And it shows some kind of signature he had.
Go ahead.
Underneath which would usually came from formula permanent, a rendition of his first name, which stresses its meaning as Christ buried. In 1484, after sojourn of some 10 tribes, in 1484, after sojourn of some 10 years in Portugal and in Porto Santo Columbius, an experienced seaman, 33 years of age, presented to King John II of Portugal a plan for discovery of the western route to the Indies. So far as we know, the king's ship were not to round the southern tip of Africa for another 4 years, nor to reach India that way for 10 more years after that. But perhaps the Portuguese were already committed to this route, to entertain any other possibility. John Satan appointed a committee of scientists to hear out Columbus's plan. and they at length decided against acceptance of it.
So basically, there was many other explorers or people that was trying to find a short route. That's what they teach you in school. Remember, the teachers in school that he discovered America by accident. Remember,
right?
They was trying to find a shorter route to trade with that's what they say they call the Indians because they were trying to find a better traveling route to India. But that's India's name was not even named India back then.
Right.
I forget the name it had, but it was not India. That was not the name that that it had something similar, but it wasn't named that.
Right.
But they were trying to find the rest of the explorers say, man, we got to find a shorter. It's taking too long for us to travel to Pakistan and the Himalayas and all of that, to trade spices. So there must be a better way to get there. But Columbus, like, okay, he used that as an excuse. He was like, yeah, I know how. Like, I got it. I know how to get there fast. So that's how. But he used that. He's like, I'm gonna get on this boat and we're gonna go this way, in this direction. This is the shorter route. But he knew his ambitions. Read on. Is that it on that, Shabayala?
It's a whole other paragraph.
All right. But read more into that. I think it explains more. And I'm not gonna read it all because it's so long. And you got to kind of read it like that book. The way the oppressor writes books. You got to really go back and read it again to understand the context of what he's saying. Because he uses all these big words, that, once again, Black and Hispanic and Native Indians, we speak in slang.
Right.
And if you say, this, if you write, this cat was trying to goddamn find this and that, we'll understand it in a different way. But, the oppressor wants to use so much technicality in the way he writes his books. In his literature, he thinks he's so smart, he sounds dumb.
Right.
But once again, there's some truth to it. And the truth was that Columbus knew about the Apocrypha, knew about the hidden books, knew about those books, started reading. They weren't even hidden then, though. They were part of the Bible at his time.
Right.
And he read it, and he said, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna get on this exploration with the excuse of finding, a short route to the India, I forget the name of India at that time, but in a shorter route there, but ended up going in a whole different direction and knew he was going to run into the lowest people, because he had aspirations to conquer them off gate. All right. You give me that scripture. You have something to say? Yeah, drop that.
Did you want me to go up a little bit, or did you want me to go right from the dragon?
Well, read up. Read what you got. Read up a little bit if you want to.
Book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was sent into the earth, and when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth a man-child.
Now listen. The oppressor was cast down into the earth. At one point, the so-called oppressor was low. When he was in the Caucasus Mountains, he didn't have no empire. This, like I said, once again, that Bible is Black and Hispanic people talk. It's metaphorically. It's poetic. That's how so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that's how we understand life. Through comparisons, and that's the Bible for you. Right. And the oppressor is the dragon that was cast down onto the earth. And he persecuted what?
He persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
He persecuted the children of Israel. This is using the analogy as Israel being a woman. Read on.
Verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she may flee into the wilderness into her place.
This is a revelation from John also, and he's looking at this vision. The Lord is revealing these things through visions, and he's a woman and a dragon, and isn't that what the oppressor does to us? Don't he persecute us? Like if you comparing a woman, because a woman with child would be considered what? What's a woman with child? Okay, yeah, but precious, and why? Because she's what? Yeah, okay. A woman with child, if she was in any danger, how vulnerable? I'm about to give it to you. A woman with child is pretty much vulnerable and weak.
Right.
Weak because she can't defend herself.
Right.
So this woman was given it, some wings in this vision. Read on.
Where she nourished for a time, and time, and half a time, from the face of the serpent.
A time period she was hiding, man. From a time period the Lord's people was hiding. Like we were just hidden. We don't know who we are. We don't know where we come from. We're black and Hispanic and Native Indians. Hiding for a time. We was hidden for a time.
Right.
For hundreds of years. Read on.
Verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he may cause her to be carried away of the flood. Verse 16. And the earth helped the woman.
But the earth what?
But the earth helped the woman.
Listen, the dragon in this vision, John is seeing that the dragon casts out water. Now, this ain't a fire-breathing dragon. It's a water-spitting dragon. Cast out so he could flood this woman, so he could destroy this woman. Crack cocaine, you understand what I'm saying? Drugs, gangs, bad media and all kind of stuff that will destroy the children of Israel, man. That's the dragon spilling out all, water to wash away who you are, to wash you away, to get rid of you. Read on. But the earth, the scripture say, but the earth what?
And the earth helped the woman.
And the earth helped the woman. Now, how would the earth help the woman? Read on.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood.
And the earth swallowed up the flood. The earth opened her mouth. Read on.
And swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Go ahead.
Verse 7.
Hold on.
The earth helped the woman is what it says, archaeology.
Archaeology. Like now the truth is coming out.
Right.
History books. Right. Archaeology that the tribe of Gad is the Native American Indians.
Right.
That their culture, the Shield of David on their garments. The lunar stone, they got the Ten Commandments found here in America. The archaeology that the Mayans and the Aztecs were priests.
That's right.
Like a priest only come from the nation of Israel. You understand what I'm saying? Archaeology that the tribe of Judah is the real, Jew in the Bible. From Babylon to Timbuktu, how they were sold into slavery from the Africans.
Right.
The Africans sold Jewish slaves, man.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's why a lot I hate these Africans. They claim that the original Bible is in Ethiopia,
right.
and this and that, and this is the Igbo tribe, and blah blah blah.
Right.
Because they kept the culture.
Right.
They kept the culture. They call it culture vultures.
Right.
They kept just like the white Jewish man with them Khazars. But when the Romans sacked Jerusalem, they took all the stuff,
right.
and they just made it their own, and they converted to Judaism. These fake Ethiopian Jews, they're not real Jews. They might have some type of knowledge because they sold the real Jews into slavery.
Right.
So they kept the culture, man. Just like the oppressor making movies like The Mexican or The Last Samurai. Same thing, man. Even America make the white man, the so-called oppressor, make movies, and he'll be the Indian too.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's not really hard to understand these things. But if you're not taught, you will not understand these things.
Right.
Go ahead, brother. You were gonna say?
That's it. What you brought up about the Ashkenazi Jews or the Khazars. That's the reason Hitler burnt them in that oven.
Right.
He knew that they had stolen our.
Yeah, they was pretending. Hitler didn't like that.
Right.
If those so-called Jewish people or them so-called Ashkenazi Jews or Zion or whatever the hell they are, right? If they would have just kept it 100 and said, "Nah, we Aryans too. We're white people too." And I mean, we just greedy white people. We just want the money or whatever real reason Hitler had for them. But he saw me, y'all pretending. Okay, y'all want to pretend. Oh, I got something for y'all. Y'all the reason we lost the war in Germany. Hitler didn't have no racial thing towards them. He just had this lie that they was pretending to be black people.
Right.
Read on. I mean, is that it? Is that what that's it? What you wanted to say, Shamayala? Okay, that's it. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach.
Anyway, drop that. Once again, the earth helped the woman by washing, by opening the mouth, getting rid of the water, and bringing some knowledge, man. Like the archaeology is saying that, books and different proof that the Jews really existed, and that those people are here in America today.
That's right.
But they don't see that they won't teach in the school, because you can't teach little black children, little Hispanic children and boys that they are the God's chosen people. Right. You can't teach that. If you teach that, then they will rise above you, above your children. They'll have a sense of pride. Instead of being illegal immigrants, they'll be the tribe of Isupk, the tribe of Zebulon, the lowest people. Like, instead of being Negroes and blacks and Afro-Americans, you're Judah, where Christ sprang from, man. So what would that put in black and Hispanic children mentality now? Man, we're great. We're better than that. We're better than drugs. We're better than homosexuality. We're better than gangs. We're special, man. We're special, so we must act special, and we must keep the commandments of our power, man.
That's right.
And with that, pass the class over to Freedom Officer Shamayala. Is it Shamayala? Is it him or you? Well, let him hold pose. You hold pose of him.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. Started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for a new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment found in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10.
Now, go ahead.
Means 10th in the Hebrew. Ma'asherah, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for the priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like.
Support this truth, man. If you're black and Hispanic, man, like, come support your brothers. Find the truth. Find out who you are so you can be special, man. So we can be a special people together. So we can be the lowest people again, man. So we can take over this earth, man.
That's right.
So we can be great. So we can bring back that spirit of our ancestors, man, and honor them by us being better. Better to the Most High. Better children to the Most High, man. So we can regain our power, our honor, man. Read on.
Upcoming Holy Convocation.
The next upcoming Holy Convocation is the memorial of blowing the trumpets. I don't have the exact date. September the 6th. Okay. At even. That's you know the day on that? September the 6th. That's on a Monday. Monday, September the 6th. Are you sure about that one? Okay, all right. We need to get the. I got it.
Come. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. That's boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. With that, Amadium. Wapayan Aquadam means to stand and turn to the east. We're going to end in the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanau, Shabbat Shemayim, Wadash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakka, Daba'ah, Watazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Thundanau, Nakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalatlanau, Kabawatinau, Kabawatinau, Wala'ah, Tabi'an, Panasai one, Abal, Hashana, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wathapara, Lawalamyam, Aman.
In English, our Father, which art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses. Salaki, and forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be.
Saul means to turn. Men of Israel, one person salute to the teacher. Amadium Shabbat. Amadium. Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Yahya Matah. Class dismissed.
Towards the end, after this was my stomach, I started getting lightheaded. Like I feel it right now. I got some mustard ASAP. I think I drunk a